Alright, YouTube, what is going on? It is Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers back with another video. And in today's video, I am going to once again be talking about the 2024 NFL Draft as we are fastly approaching it. It is this Thursday, and I'm recording this on Monday night. Man, it's crazy how fast this offseason is going. And I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. It's been about almost 2 weeks now. And really, we're in exactly the same place I left you guys, you know? We still are maybe going to get a tackle, maybe going to get a center, maybe going to get a receiver, and maybe going to get a corner. The only thing I haven't necessarily given the most effort to talking about is the Brandon Aiyuk trade or not trade, because we don't know what's going to happen. And honestly, I've been hoping, I've been praying that, something was going to come of it, whether he got traded to us or he got traded somewhere else and we can kind of end the talks. But if you guys don't know, apparently there's going to be some Brandon Aiyuk news on the draft day. That is when he is allegedly going to get moved or allegedly going to sign a new contract, and all of this means nothing. We will end up seeing what happens. But I still just, kind of want to get on here and talk about the draft as we are approaching it. Now, if you guys are a Steelers fan or you enjoy NFL content in general, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to the people who have subscribed already. And thank you to the future subscribers, man. Also, shout out to the members. With all that said, let's get right into the video. So, as I mentioned, we pretty much left you guys in the same place, or we're pretty much in the same place that I left my last video of we don't know who we don't know who the Steelers are going to draft, because as Mike Tomlin says, we aren't overly thirsty in any area after addressing needs in free agency. Now, I know baseline, I know, seeing this and we have no center and we have Dan Moore at tackle still. We only have one good corner, as I actually think I have a tweet up here. Yeah, here we go, from Andrew Filipponi. It's Andrew Filipponi, guys, so, take it for what it is. But, no starting center. Dan Moore still at left tackle. No one good corner and no number 2 wide receiver. I know, seeing this quote probably just makes people, just very upset. Like, Mike Tomlin, mediocre Mike. I get it. But to be honest, if the season started today, yeah, we have some holes. For sure we have some holes, but hey, man, I'm going to start it out. The Steelers like Dan Moore, man. And if the Steelers like Dan Moore, I don't necessarily like Dan Moore, but they feel real comfortable with it. And so, maybe we're going to get a tackle with our first round pick, maybe, just maybe. And there are a lot of good tackles. I want to say like three to four tackles to where if we drafted them, it would be like, okay, and this is with no moves. This is with, just baseline pick 20. Who are we taking at pick 20? We're taking Troy Fautano or something like that, or Amarius Mims at pick 20, something like that. I wouldn't be mad at it, and I know a lot of people out there wouldn't be mad at it either. The only other gripe to that I have seen is, maybe we go get Jackson Powers-Johnson, who's the best center in the class, or we get Zach Frazier, who is the second best center in the class, or someone who's rising up and, maybe a spoiler, maybe something, but we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe I'll make more videos more towards the draft. But I think we're going to get Graham Barton, man. I think his versatility on the offensive line is something that, we always kind of look into. We always look for as, the Steelers. We absolutely love versatility, especially on the offensive line. Like, you're a center? How about guard? Can you play guard? Wait, you're a guard? Try tackle. You like being a right tackle? Let's go to the left side. We love that shit. And so I think if we are going to get an offensive lineman, and the Amarius Mims isn't there, if who's he? J.C. Latham, who I think we were projected to move up at pick 17 to take him. Like, if he's gone, if maybe even, the wide receivers on the board, I can really see us taking Graham Barton. And I don't know if I necessarily want to lock it in as my prediction for who we're going to take, because I'll probably make a whole prediction video of just the draft. And, it's not an actual mock draft, but just pick 1, I think we're going to take this guy. Pick 2, I think we're going to pick this guy. I think I'm going to make my own kind of prediction, just that's not a mock draft, and we'll see how the board falls. But right now, I do feel comfortable in saying I think Graham Barton is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. But I also feel really comfortable in saying that I think Jackson Powers-Johnson is going to be one, Amarius Mims is going to be one. It's all going to be about how we feel at, the time and the positional value and the player value, because like I said, there are a lot of tackles in this class. There's a bunch of receivers in this class, and we need one of them. We definitely need one of them. It'll just be about, if Brian Thomas Jr. you think is better than Tyler Guyton at his position, then you take Brian Thomas Jr., or cornerback. We move over to corner, if Quinion Mitchell somehow falls and maybe Jackson Powers-Johnson is there too, but we feel like we can get Frazier in the second. I say you go Quinion Mitchell and you get that second lockdown corner, but that's just me. And speaking of that too, to kind of move forward with the wide receiver thing, not to spoil it, not to make anybody sad out there, but maybe even Brian Thomas Jr. But I really think unless we trade up, I don't know if we're going to use that first round pick on a receiver. No offense to Adonai Mitchell. No offense to Brian Thomas Jr. No offense to like Troy Franklin. No offense to any of the guys who maybe we take there at 20. But I think just and this is no trades, of course, but just with where we are at right now, tackle and center just at pick 20 is going to be way more of value than wide receiver at pick 20. Because if we go to pick, what's our second round pick? I believe it's 51. If we go to our second round pick by then, tackle smoked. No, like, there's Kingsley Samatua, or however you say his name. He's on the board typically. Matt Goncalves from Pitt, he's on the board typically. But like that round one tackle, that guy, that lockdown, you ever seen The Blind Side and how it starts? It's like, you know what I'm saying? You got Sandra Bullock like, oh, this is why the left tackle is the highest paid. Lawrence, you know what I'm talking about? That tackle I think is going to be gone by pick 51, And so if it comes down to it, I say we just hold our breath and we pick tackle or offensive or center at pick 20. And I think wide receiver is definitely going to come later. For sure going to come later. And all of that to say too, maybe, just maybe, man, we go out and we trade for Brandon Aiyuk. To be honest, anything less than a first, I'm with it. Like if we got to give up 2 seconds, maybe that's a little bit much. I don't know, but I'm with it. Because every time I think, okay, a first round pick is too much and he's going to come with a new contract extension. Every time I think of that, I realize, fam, we haven't won a fucking Super Bowl since 2009. And we haven't been to one since I think 2011. We've come close. I want to say in 2015 or 16, we had the AFC Championship where we lost to a lacrosse player. But we've had our first round pick most of that time, man. And the whole time outside of the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, we've had our first round pick. And it just hasn't, it hasn't amounted to anything. We've had some good teams, but we just haven't been able to get over the hump. Does Brandon Aiyuk get us over the hump? I don't know. But at this point, I am down to try anything. And speaking of down to try anything, I know there is one guy out there who is down to try anything. Pause. And that's Omar Khan. Omar Khan might end this night with 3 first-round draft picks, man. We might end the draft picking only only picking one night, and that's night 1 because we traded everything else. This guy is prone to do anything. I am very excited to see how he navigates this draft. Last year, we traded up for Broderick Jones. We went from, I think, pick 18 to 14 or something like that. We definitely traded up last year to get Broderick Jones and then put him in the wrong position because we love Big Dan Moore. It is what it is. But I definitely think there's going to be some fireworks in this draft. And honestly, I keep mentioning it, but I am excited. I'm excited to finally get some answers and meet the new Steelers and, who we're going to root for and who we're going to boo when they get drafted to the Ravens, like Adonai Mitchell, who's like someone who, if he's a Steeler, man, he's a big Steeler. Brian Thomas Jr., big Steeler, man. Like, I love him. I really think they're good players. But if they go to the Ravens, that's a bad pick. Wow, you reached PFF F minus, you reached. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I'm definitely excited to see what happens with Brandon Aiyuk. Should we trade for Brandon Aiyuk, guys? Like, is that really the move that we have to make, or do we need to trade up for Rome Odunze? I have seen some mock drafts where we do that. I actually have a friend, Rick, who did a mock draft and he traded up for Rome Odunze. And it's like, if we're gonna take a wide receiver at pick 20, why not trade up a little bit and take one at pick I don't know, top 10 or something like that. Why not do that? Why not make the move? Omar Khan is definitely someone who I think, if it's there, if it makes sense, it's going to happen. But yeah, for now, let me go to this Andrew Filipponi tweet. For now, I do genuinely think it's going to be tackle. But I don't know, the Steelers keep doubling down on Dan Moore, man. Like, I keep saying it, but they really keep doubling down. And if they've loved Dan Moore for this long, and he's been Dan Moore for this long, and we keep telling them, hey guys, you need to replace Dan Moore, and they replace Shakuma Okorafor instead of Dan Moore, it's like, why now? Why would they do that now when we couldn't get Jackson Powers Johnson, aka the best center in the class, or Graham Barton, or Zach Frazier, or Cedric Van Pran? Them first round pick, I get it. So Jackson Powers Johnson with our first round pick, Zach Frazier probably not with our first round pick, but if we trade down, then maybe. But why get a replacement for Dan Moore when maybe we can get another good corner, another good wide receiver when we've loved Dan Moore for this long? Steelers fans, I know you watching this video, you aren't the happiest with Dan Moore. Me making this video, I'm not the happiest with Dan Moore. But the Steelers, them out there, Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, all of our offensive line coaches, all of our coaches in general, even Matt Canada, boo. they've all loved Dan Moore, man. So, you know, what's to stop them from starting Dan Moore one more time? And you know, he did shut down Myles Garrett, and Dan Moore, he's getting on that James Pierre kind of vibe with me, where it's like he's so bad, but he's been on the team for so long that it's like, man, that's a Steeler. Not too much on Dan Moore, man. So we will end up seeing what happens. But yeah, that's really the video. Like I just genuinely don't know, and I also don't like how toxic the draft can be and draft speculation. Like people be acting like they just know. You know, and I get some people are scouters, some people do be watching college football, some people, you know more than others. But at the end of the day, we don't know how any of these guys are going to be in the NFL. And so every time, like, I make a mock draft or I see a mock draft and I'm like, oh, you know, I think this is a good move. And then you see comments like, nope, horrible, bad move. He's going to be a bust. Like, guaranteed. Oh, you missed this guy who's going to win I saw somebody say that Jackson Powers Johnson was going to get a gold jacket. Now, you know, maybe, right? Maybe, just maybe, we miss out on drafting a Hall of Fame center on April 23rd, 2024. Like maybe the Hall of Fame center pronounced on April 23rd, 2024 before he's even played a snap. You know, maybe we miss out on him, but you know, maybe not because we drafted somebody else who's going to be a gold jacket. But yeah, like nobody knows. Nobody really knows. We just got to hope and pray that Omar Khan and the people we trust are, you know, doing the right thing and picking the right players. And either way, man, I'm riding with it. Whoever we pick, I'm riding with it. I'm riding with the pick. Unless we take, like, I don't know, a running back with our first round pick or something, then it's like, all right, guys, we're really throwing here. But center, tackle, corner, or wide receiver, any of the four, to me, I think is a good pick because as Andrew Filipponi says, we do have these holes at these positions, and it could be anything. But I will say, as I've mentioned, I don't think it's going to be receiver, and it really could be corner, man. It really could be corner. Don't let that whatchamacallit, don't let that go, you know, unnoticed. It could be corner because we really could use another corner. And if we get someone like a Quinion Mitchell, like a Kool-Aid McKinstry, like a he's another guy from Alabama. I can't think of his name, but he's a corner. Like just at pick 20, you know, one of the top end guys, or maybe even someone later, or not later, but you know, Nate Wiggins even too. Or if we get someone later, I think that could be a good move too. But you know, don't sleep on corner with our number one pick. But if I had to do in order, you know, in order of what I think we're going to draft, I think it's going to be tackle, center, receiver, corner in that order. I think it's going to be tackle or center or receiver or corner in that order. But, you know, we will see what ends up happening. Anyways, guys, I think that is going to do it for me for this video. Apologies for the kind of delay on the videos, but as I've mentioned, 2 weeks ago, I left you in the same place. 2 weeks later, I still don't know who we're going to pick, man, but I think we have our options. We definitely have a pretty big list to choose from, and it's all going to be about what Omar Khan is feeling that night. So, as I said, I'm going to get out of here. Once again, if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Shout out to the members. Shout out to all of the Zaya and the Steelers emotes in the chat. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.